things are happening quickly. And most of you probably already heard the news. If you haven't, this is coming from Reuters. U.S. House passes $95 billion Ukraine-Israel aid package. It is now going to the Senate, where more than likely it will be passed and then signed by the president. $60 billion going to Ukraine, $26 billion going to Israel, and $8 billion going to Taiwan. Now, this has no political theme whatsoever. I'm just asking a question. Doesn't matter if you're right, left, in the middle. Who is paying for this? Who in the world is paying for this? We are a bankrupt nation, $34.6 trillion in debt. We're not going to have money in the Social Security Fund, they say, by 2034, which probably really means 2029, 2030. But yet we are writing checks for $95 billion. Where is this money coming from? And the next question is, how come you're not getting any money? We're sending money all over the world. Our country is collapsing. Businesses are collapsing. Infrastructure, the educational system in this country is collapsing. You name it, it's collapsing. And we're sending nearly another $100 billion overseas. How does a bankrupt nation do this? Who's paying for this? You guessed it, you are, I am. We're not going to see a dime of this money. We're going to go deeper into debt because of this. This is really alarming. Writing checks this big that we have no business writing whatsoever. This is really, really bad news. Baltimore bridge collapse costing $191 million a day in lost economic activity. But yet the House passes another $95 billion, and we're losing $191 million just because of this bridge collapse. This makes no sense to me whatsoever. Why are we not investing this money in ourselves, into small business? We have a homeless epidemic. We have too much poverty. We have food insecurity. We have low-wage jobs. Why are we not investing this in the corporate infrastructure? Why is none of this money coming back into America?
Why we are going into a world war. You're looking at it right now, folks. There are over 34,669,868,000,000 reasons why we are going into a world war. You see, our country is broke, folks. This is the debt clock. And this is the federal spending. The leaders that you elected, I'm talking about the American people, Democrats and Republicans, have put us into this mess, and there is no way for the United States to pay our debt off. You can see it's growing. This is the actual debt clock. Every second it gets more. Folks, we're 34 trillion. In just a few months, we're going to be $35 trillion in debt. Debt per citizen is $103,000. Debt per taxpayer, $266,000. That's how much you owe. If they were to make everyone pay, 330 million people in the United States times $266,000. So, folks, this is the reason. You see, our country cannot pay the debt. The interest on our debt now, just the interest payments, is over $1 trillion. So the powers that be, they know that we're broke. Europe's broke, folks. The European nations are broke. They're all broke. There's no possible way that we can pay this debt back. So let's go over some of the figures. U.S. debt interest payments reach $1 trillion. Now, if you have a credit card, and let's say you charged up $10,000 on your credit card, so they send you a bill, and before you can even start paying the $10,000 in your monthly payment, well, $800 of your monthly payment is interest. So you're paying $1,000 a month trying to pay it off, right? But $800 is interest. you're only paying $200. Well, the United States government, our interest payments alone, folks, are $1 trillion. That's before we even tackle the $34 trillion in the actual debt. This is just the interest on the debt. Folks, we're getting to the point in our country we can't even pay the interest on the debt. U.S. interest payments reach $1 trillion annual interest payments. So that is why we're going to World War III. We need a war to blame the financial collapse of the United States government. You see, there is going to be a financial collapse, and they need something to blame it on. They need a war. They need a war with Russia. They need a war with China. They need a world war. So once our country goes belly up, well, they can say, well, it was the World War that caused our debt, not all of these politicians that cannot control their spending. Folks, do you know about every 4 to 5 months, maybe it's even sooner, the U.S. Congress, they have to increase the debt limit. Why? Because their spending is out of control, folks. We're spending almost $1 trillion just on defense. Social Security, they've been robbing that in Medicare every year for the last 30 years. The Social Security fund is broke. And they know